Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Joey Galvez, one half of your host of Explain Yourself, and I want to let you guys know about a really cool book from our friend of the show, Eli Shockey. This one is called The Greylock, and it's a story where magic is a commodity. Potions are sold at corner stores. Orcs and dwarves earn a living in cubicles, not on the battlefields. But there are those who resist the house's magic's laws. Branded a criminal and forced to live as a wand for hire, there is a spell slinger they call the Greylock. Check this one out. You guys can pre-order issue 3 right now with code JAN241939, and make sure you guys are heading over to your favorite LCS and letting them know that you want Greylock number 3 and maybe pick up the first 2 issues. You could do that at the Scout web store. So make sure you guys are grabbing the Greylock number 3, JAN241939 at previewsworld.com.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is
Matthew. On a jet ski with Loki and Mobius. Us.
That's a very musical name.
Yeah, it is.
It's soothing. And makes me feel like going on a jet ski.
Well, that's the whole point. So you're supposed to feel, jet ski kind of rocks, it's comfort, but it kind of rocks at the same time, so it's got like a...
So, a jet ski is neither a jet or a ski.
No.
Discuss. No, I'm joking. Anyways, on today's episode, we are covering episode 2 of the Disney Plus Marvel series Loki, entitled The Variant.
Ooh.
Yeah. Directed by Kate Herron. I still can't pronounce her name, and I just heard it the other day, and I totally knew I was going to fuck it up. Written by Elisa Karasik. Man, I suck at names, man. I really do. I really suck at names. Mahat.
There's no H in my name. What?
Yeah. Matthew.
It's interesting if you actually pronounce it that way when you go M-A-T and then you break it off to T-H-E-W, you say Matthew instead of Matthew with a T-H, Matthew. It actually sounds closer to its not Arabic, Hebrew, because technically Matthew is a Hebrew name, which is Matteyahu. Yeah. So if you actually go Matthew instead of Matthew, you're getting closer and closer to the like for example, that reggae-ish artist Matteyahu. that's pretty much how my name would be spelled if it was Hebrew into English. Using the English or Latin alphabet or whatever.
Yeah.
So technically, that could be my name. I mean, it's not, but it could be my name.
Your name could also be Loki.
It could be. I mean, last week I said it was Loki, so yeah.
So this episode,
yep,
was awesome. What was your reaction to it?
Oh yeah, I thought it was great. Yeah, totally cool. Yeah, I mean that's it. I mean, it was just good. I mean, it was really good.
That was deep. That was deep.
They really didn't waste any time. I mean, like with WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, at least took a few episodes to sort of get going. This second episode,
Which is funny because a couple people I've talked to think this show is too slow.
What? I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier is probably the slowest one we've had so far.
Yeah.
Personally, because it really didn't get into like the third or fourth episode before things really started
picking up. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. So. Okay, here's the breakdown of the episode, Matt. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Ready for me to start?
Yes.
Okay. I'm ready. Okay. Loki joins a Time Variance Authority mission to the site of an attack by a fugitive variant of him. We first, because we open up basically into this scene where we think it's like maybe the Middle Ages or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it turns out it's 1985 and it's in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, at a Renaissance fair. Have you ever been to a Renaissance fair? Just curious.
I don't know. I think maybe once. I don't remember. I think it was like, I don't know. I know our friend Shamsi used to go to those. Did we ever go to one with her? Like,
I know I did. I just couldn't remember if you were there.
I don't know if I was. You know what? I don't think I was part of that friend circle at that point yet. So I don't think so.
Yeah, I've been to a few of them. They're actually pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean they look pretty fun.
Yeah, hopefully they have some more coming up. Now that the COVID thing is kind of winding down. They're fun to go to.
Yeah,
you can get a big turkey leg and eat it and stuff.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I'm in like super hungry today for some reason. Like as soon as we get done, I'm literally thinking I'm gonna go to Rally's and get a burger. Like I'm like starving.
I'm probably gonna make myself some ravioli and some breadsticks. Ooh. And sounds good to me. So yeah. Thought about getting pizza, but this sounds better and it's cheaper and it's in my apartment. Anyways, so they're at this Renaissance festival, or fair, or whatever you want to call it, and they in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, which I don't know what the significance of any of this is, but there's got to be a reason for it, And I do think that I'm seeing a little interesting thing here where they trick us at first to make us think that we're back into the Renaissance, and then it's all just a play, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that could be some metaphors for things that are coming in the future of the show.
Uh-huh.
So that's just some theories I got going on here in my little noggin. And so we've got the variant has kidnapped at this in Oshkosh has kidnapped the TVA hunter C-20, right before Loki and everybody in Mobius show up to look at the situation, and the rest of the timekeepers or whatever you want to call them. So Loki ends up derailing the mission by stalling and attempting to bargain his way into a meeting with the timekeepers.
Right.
Yeah. Who had created the TVA and supposedly the Sacred Timeline. Basically, Judge Ravana Renslayer, who we met in the first episode, who sentenced him and then was talked out of it by Mobius, Mobius, objects to his involvement, but Mobius convinces her to give Loki another chance.
Yeah, they seem like old friends, so
yeah. There's interesting scene. Like, what else happens here, Matt? Like, I know there's like a scene with Renslayer and Mobius.
Well, like I said, they seem like they're old friends. Like they used to work together, but she got promoted, and he's kind of stayed, where he, was or whatever. And I don't know. They kind of had this banter together, like they maybe liked each other, had a thing for each other, perhaps, or just friendly with each other. But he's meeting in her office, and he's talking about how, like, she's got all these souvenirs from different time periods, but he doesn't get to keep anything from, his missions or whatever. And like he like she gives him like an alcoholic drink. Well, that's what it seems like,
Yeah.
He puts it down on the table without a coaster, and she like reminds him like, "Hey, use a coaster." And he's like, "Well, it's, there's a whole bunch of other rings here." And she's like, "Yeah, they're all from you." Like,
Yeah.
So it's like, interesting. Like either he doesn't remember, or maybe he's just. See, I heard some theories from that, but like, I don't know if I got that. I think I got that he's just kind of like a sort of like loose cannon of the, like, he's like the wild card of the time. You know what I mean? Like that's what I got from him. Like he's the rebel of the organization type of thing. Like so clumsy and disorganized. That kind of
Yeah, kind of.
Which is maybe why he. Yeah.
Kind of like Mel Gibson's character in Lethal Weapon, kind of like the loose cannon cop guy, you know what I mean, in a way.
Exactly, and maybe that's why he takes an interest in Loki's, because maybe secretly he kind of likes that whole chaotic energy, So, we find out that there's like statues of the timekeepers in her office, actually, which is interesting.
Her office was pretty sweet, I think.
Oh yeah, I would freaking live there.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that's her office. That's not even her home.
I love the whole aesthetic of the TVA in general. I mean, the whole like kind of 1970s, late 60s kind of vibe to it. It's kind of cool. I always liked the way things looked back then, anyways. So at least the way they look in movies.
Yeah, exactly. Like the whole how everything's analog. That's very interesting.
Yeah, she's listening to music. She's listening to some music on a reel-to-reel as well, so that's kind of interesting too.
Yeah, it is very interesting. And plus, too, when they played Loki, his whole life story, that was on a reel.
Yeah.
As well, and it's interesting because this is supposed to be like some futuristic, place, or of course, it could be just a sense of like, since they are so futuristic, maybe they just like things to be analog because they've already seen everything so advanced. You know what I mean? That it's like boring now type of thing. So maybe, they like kind of going back to like old fax machines and just kind of make it, you know what I mean? Like if like you're like all powerful beings, you can just like snap your, well, no pun intended, snap your finger and make reality whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
That was a reference to Thanos by mistake, actually. But
yeah. It's kind of like how hipsters love to listen to records as opposed to
exactly.
Yeah.
And I like record because you get to watch it spin. You get I think there is a thing where once you get to like a peak of like oh, this technology can do this, do that. It's so awesome. It's like after a certain point, it's like, well, what do we do now? Type of thing. And so then you start backtracking. It seems like, and that's kind of why trends tend to go backwards as well. Like usually 25, 30 years, things from the past start becoming popular again.
Yeah.
So I kind of have that. That's a weird sort of philosophical tangent right there.
I mean, it's kind of like how I've been seeing a lot of like neon colors and stuff like that, and people looking like they're in an episode of Saved by the Bell or something lately. So it's
exactly. Or like the jeans with the holes automatically cutting them. Those are popular in the early '90s when I was a kid. So yeah.
I'm waiting for like the Reebok pump to come back or something.
Yeah. Oh God, or rollerblading, man, rollerblade. Anyway, good episode though. I mean, like really.
So
lots of stuff in this episode.
So basically, in the office too, Mobius is kind of upset because there's like other like little souvenirs in there that he didn't give her. So he's kind of almost like got a jealousy feeling to him about the fact that she might be sweet on another agent here or something,
Yeah.
People keep talking about the fact that one of the things that they kind of linger on is there's a pen that says Franklin Roosevelt High School on it.
Yeah.
So we'll see what that is. I mean, because like the main thing I'm thinking here with it is it's the fact that it could be like Chekhov's gun. Have you ever heard this theory?
No.
Okay, Chekhov had this theory, the writer, about the fact that if you like say show a gun above a fireplace in the first act of a play, by the end of the play that's going to be shot.
Okay.
So you can apply that to anything. Like if something's lingered on in a scene of a show, by the end of the episode or by the end of the season, or like if it's in a movie, by the end of the movie, that it's going to have some kind of significance.
Yeah. Okay.
Whether it be a gun that's shot, is the best example. So, or like like some because there's no reason to point out something. And I feel the same thing about those rings on the table and different things like that they're just kind of throwing at us, that there's got to be reasons why they're showing them to us this early in the series.
Yeah, it makes sense. And plus, too, did you notice that the coasters were hexagon shaped?
Dun dun dun.
Yep. Well, my theory is that the end of this series is going to open back up the multiverse. And then I thought WandaVision was going to directly go into multiverse, Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, but maybe Loki show is going to actually officially reopen the multiverse. I don't know, but I'm thinking it's going to go that way.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
It is.
But yeah, I just think that this whole scene has like major significance, because there's no reason to have a scene where he's kind of in the office just talking. But then again, this is kind of like what you have in like a cop procedural sort of thing. Like if you watch like Blue Bloods or Law and Order or something like that, you do have these scenes where the detective's in the captain's office talking to them about what's going on, and stuff like that, so.
True.
Yeah.
But the way he talks to her is very, very familiar tone. He doesn't even call her Judge or Madam. He calls her by her first name, so that's something that you normally don't do unless you kind of have a sort of familiar relationship with, each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my teacher, for example, like, in school, I always call them Mr. or Mrs. whatever. I didn't call them by their names. You know what I mean?
But it could be, too, a thing, like, if you're working with somebody for a long time, eventually, like, I mean, I don't call my boss, like, manager so-and-so. I call them by their first name at work, sort of thing.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so, so basically, what ends up happening after this, Loki is sent to, he's sent to do like research and stuff. He's we do have a scene in there, so much happens in this episode, so it's kind of hard to remember the order of things. But, time doesn't matter, so there is no order. Oh, wait, sorry.
Right, exactly. No order. Yeah.
At one point, Loki's learning things from Miss Minute. The little animated creature that's voiced by Tara Strong. It's kind of interesting to see that, and he gets kind of frustrated about the learning aspect of things, and that comes into play later. He's at one point looking at a jet ski magazine of Mobius's. And then we do learn that Mobius loves jet skis. Talks about the early 90s when they were, really popular.
He talks about, what was it, there was a brief period in the early to mid 90s where, what did he say, form and function merged or something like that, or a perfect merging of form and function.
Yeah.
And that was the jet ski. I think he's got a thing for the 90s because he was drinking Josta again.
Oh, yeah.
So.
It is true. So, jet skis, I mean, they were pretty popular, I guess, in that time period. But they were actually created in 1972.
Oh, wow.
At least the Kawasaki jet ski was. So, yeah. But I mean, they did kind of the first stand-up jet ski with dual carburetors came out in '95. So, I don't know. And then they basically, the stand-up versions of them kind of were popular in the late 80s to the mid 90s. So that's probably why he's really into that stuff, and like into that, like you said, he's into Josta Cola and stuff too. So yeah, he is very 90s. There is another in one of the other scenes, Casey is actually the character played by Eugene Cadero, is drinking out of these adult juice boxes that came out around the same time too. Yeah, there was I can't remember the name of them, but I saw it in the scene, and somebody pointed it out on another podcast I was listening to, that there just seems to be this ongoing thing for discontinued drinks in this show too. So
yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, because also when he was DB Cooper, he was drinking some kind of discontinued soda as well. So it's just interesting. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah. So,
I forgot to mention too at the beginning. So there was this cool fight scene at the Renaissance Fair. You remember?
Yeah. Yeah. To the song "Holding Out for a Hero."
That was pretty awesome. Like they got led into a trap inside like the arena.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically this we learned this other variant can sort of like take control of other people's bodies, like psychically, I guess. It seemed like.
Yeah.
Because at one point, one of them just like takes off her helmet and starts fighting, but then at one point you see the other variant Loki from the other side fighting as well. So it's like, can this Loki like simultaneously control other people's bodies and then also use their own body at the same time? It's kind of interesting.
I mean, it's kind of like almost like a development of what happened like in the first Avengers movie where Loki was able to like take over Hawkeye and other people. He didn't He didn't really take them over. Where he just basically made them become followers in a way. But this is kind of like even more so where they're not just followers, that they're basically puppets,
They're puppets, but she. Oh, sorry. They kind of ruined it there.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. But the variant is controlling. Yeah.
yeah, she can also control her own body at the same time, which is interesting because he keeps saying he's the superior Loki. I'm like, well, I don't know. I think this one's a superior Loki if she can control her own body and at the same time control someone else's body to do her bidding, while at the same time, that's kind of an advanced power right there. Mm-hmm. I kind of gave it away by calling her she, but
that's fine. I mean, I'm assuming everybody's watched the show if they're listening, because I don't understand why you would be listening if you haven't.
Well, some people do, but then again, it's their risk, to take. So yeah. But plus two, we don't even know if this is even really if this is really even another variant of Loki.
Yeah, we don't know who this is. So, anyways, Loki, our Loki, that is, he ends up doing some research, and he's researching some TVA files. He finds out that the only files he's allowed to see are his own.
Right, that was a funny scene.
Yeah. But after researching things, he theorizes that the variant is hiding near an apocalyptic event where they can go undetected by the TVA, because nothing they can do can change the timeline.
Right.
Because if everything's going to die, you can do anything right before they die. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good theory, yeah.
Yeah. So, to prove this theory, they visit Pompeii in 79 AD to warn people about the coming eruption of Mount Vesuvius. Basically, Loki just goes crazy, starts throwing things, letting goats loose, and, tells people they're all going to die. And basically, it doesn't affect the timeline at all.
Right. He says they're from the future, they're from the Time Variance Authority.
Yeah.
Just madman stuff that they have no idea. Like, this guy's crazy, man. He's just talking like he's from the future.
Exactly.
He's wearing weird clothes.
Basically, what they end up deducing after this is that there's that the variant is probably hiding during a hurricane in 2050. The reason that they discover this is because that kablooey gum that we were introduced to in the last episode wasn't made until around that time. And they do know that the hurricane hits this big superstore called a Rocks Cart?
Yeah, Rocks Cart. I think they were big in the comic books as well. They're like a huge corporation.
There's Rocks, Roxum or something like that. I gotta look it up now. But it's like a big evil company within the comic books. So
yeah,
that basically runs everything. But anyways, they figure out that the hurricane shelter would be the best place for this variant to hide, because there's food, and everything that they need right there, and supplies in that superstore. Do you want to take a break here, Matt, and talk about the rest of the episode after that?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be right back, folks.
What is Gen X? What is the silent generation? What do generations have in common? Hi, I'm Trish the Dish from the Gen X Voice podcast, and I invite you to listen to conversations I have with folks from different generations, backgrounds, beliefs, and experiences in an attempt to see what connects rather than divides us. Even though Gen X has been called slackers, Karens, or not mentioned at all in some cases, we are the bridge generation, so I feel compelled to do my part to destroy ageism by bringing all these voices together. And, as a bonus, each guest gets to answer some 80s questions at the end of each show. So download and listen to Gen X Voice today on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And let's see how much we have in common after all.
Hi, this is Catherine, host of a new fashion podcast, The Real Fashion School Dropout. Join me as I interview guests every week in the fashion and beauty space, and we gossip on all things fashion and beauty, and even get into some personal stories of their journey in the industry. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Hope to see you there.
And we are back.
Back.
Guess who's back?
It's Backstreet Boys are back.
Backstreet's back. All right.
Right.
So, anyways, we've got back to the plot here. Okay, so they go to this hurricane shelter. Loki, Mobius, and the TV agents are there, and while they're there, the Hunter B-15 insists that Loki go with her instead of Mobius, so they split up. Loki, Mobius, and the TV agents are all ambushed by the variant, who ends up possessing the body of several agents and people in the store. First, starting with B-15. So, yeah, and then yeah, and then like in a store employee named Randy at one point, and then also like a big biker dude.
Yeah.
At the end, the variant reveals herself as a female incarnation of Loki. At least that's what we're led to believe so far. So.
Yeah, because on his file it said his sex was fluid,
Yeah.
so that's kind of we don't know yet. Be a sort of, it could be a misdirect as well. I can already hear the anti-social justice warriors right now. Oh, another show that they're trying to promote their agenda. We can't enjoy anything without complaining about it.
But
I don't know.
The thing is,
Loki
has always been a fluid character, so it's whatever.
I know.
So, basically, Loki tries to convince the variant to help him overthrow the Timekeepers. We also, at this point, see Hunter C-20 that we saw at the Renaissance Fair.
Mm-hmm.
She is there, and she is like catatonic, like just repeating things over and over again. What was she saying? Do you remember?
She was really freaking out. She was like saying it's all real, it's all real, it's all real. She's sitting there, with her hands over her knees and stuff like that. It's all real. I gave it away. Give it away,
give it away, give it away now.
Yeah, no, not that song.
No.
No, she gave away the location of the Timekeeper. They're wherever they reside, the Timekeepers. Which is weird. I don't know how she would know because she's just like an agent. But okay.
Maybe somehow maybe the agents know, or maybe the Minutemen know, or something for some reason.
Yeah, maybe they do. Yeah. So apparently, just Loki, her variant, now knows where the Timekeepers are.
Yeah, and so instead of teaming up with Loki to take down the Timekeepers together, she ends up activating several of her reset charges that she stole, and then sends them to different various points along the sacred timeline. Therefore, like, basically creating numerous new branched timelines, and the TVA is like all fucking scared as shit, basically. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, they're overrun. They're just completely over. I mean, you see on the screen, it's just all these branches are just out of nowhere,
Yeah, it's kind of like if you. I mean, I've never done it, but I've seen it on in places. It'd be like if you're at a restaurant and all of a sudden a bunch of different orders come in. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like you're a cook in the background and you're like, oh shit, I got to make 10 grilled cheese sandwiches and a few cheeseburgers and all this shit all at once, So
yeah.
Sorry, I'm talking about food and I know you're hungry. Anyways,
that's okay. That's all right.
I
just get on my jet ski and go to the cafe or whatever.
Make sure you get a Josta Cola when you're there. I mean, a soda or whatever when you get there.
Yeah.
So basically, there's all these new timelines, and it throws basically the TVA into a whole disarray and everything. And then she jumps into one of them. Our variant jumps into one of them, teleports away. But before the door closes, Loki jumps in and follows her.
Yeah, and then but it also looks like he's the one that did it. So now Mobius and everyone else thinks that he's the one that's did all of this. So
yeah.
He's basically going to become like a fugitive now until he can explain himself that he wasn't the one that actually caused it. But they're not going to believe him because he's Loki. So
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care. Oh wait, sorry.
Exactly. Gumbo, whatever his name is. I think Mobius will believe him eventually, but I don't think at first. I think they think that he is the one that. I mean, I don't know how they would think he caused all of it because it would be weird. How could he be in two places at once? But still, the fact that they didn't see the other variant, they just see him. So,
yeah.
We'll see what happens. I did see a little teaser of the third episode, and they're in some weird realm, purple realm or something like that.
Huh.
Talking to each other, just for a split second, they were in some weird in between realm that looked all purpley and stuff. I don't know. Yeah.
Did you want to take a... I mean, I know we just took a break, but do you want to take a quick break here, Matt? Because we just got through the episode, and then we can come back and we can talk about some trivia and some reviews and some other stuff here.
Some triv? Yeah, some trivs?
Trivs and views and stuff. The stuff is my favorite. Okay. The white stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways,
stuff.
We'll be right back.
Need a new podcast to listen to? Well, why not check out the Super Podcast from the Super Network at supermarcy.com, where we discuss films and pop culture, and we do monthly fan-voted commentaries. We are available on all major podcasting platforms.
And we are back. Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to cover here, I asked online because I've been seeing a lot of these discontinued items inside the show. I asked in our group what if there was any discontinued products out there that people miss. And Josette Kincaid said McDonald's chicken nuggets with dark meat.
Huh.
Dave Haas, who I think is related to you.
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day to your dad. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said Shed's horseradish sauce.
Huh.
Which I've never heard of.
I don't think I've heard of it either.
Scott Yoder said Pepsi Blue.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, it was like a blue flavored. It was like blueberry flavored cola or something, but it was blue. It was completely blue.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know, or something. I'm not sure. Melinda Ozenbaugh Robertson, who is my mother, by the way. Anyways, said said Jello 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Which I remember her getting a lot when we were kids, actually. So it was like this thing that would have like three layers of Jello thing that you can make. Like it would 3 different. It wasn't. It was like Jello, and then like one of them was kind of a different They were all different consistencies. I can't remember exactly what it was exactly, but it was kind of a. Okay, Jello 1, 2, 3. According to Wikipedia, was a Jello gelatin product introduced in 1969 and discontinued in 1996. The product was a 4.3 ounce powdered mix that, when properly prepared, separated and solidified into 3 distinct layers: a creamy top, a mousse-like middle, and a regular Jello bottom.
Awesome.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yes.
That's really cool. You know what I miss is, well, I don't know if it would be considered a discontinued product because it was only meant to be a short time thing anyway, but it was during the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle craze where they had those, those little pie things they used to have, like cherry, and they had apple, like little, you know what I'm talking about? Like you get them at gas stations and stuff.
Yeah.
I think our Hostess is the brand.
Yeah.
Well, they did one called the Ooze, which was like a pistachio type green colored thing. That was a huge deal when that came out. It's like, oh, gotta get the Ooze, man. Gotta eat the Ooze. Like, why would anyone want to eat Ooze? But whatever, okay. And because like we saw the movie, we saw that the Ooze was something gross and led to some monstrosity of creation of beastly people. Sure, let's eat it. So I miss that. I also miss oh shoot, what was it? There was like this really cool it was like McDonald's had something. It was like a don't remember. It was something. And
do you remember McDonald's pizza?
Yes, I did not like it, that one. I did not miss that one, but
I was just trying to remember different things there.
What I miss is Burger King's original chicken tenders. Is what I miss. Like they just like were.
Oh yeah, they were so much better.
Yeah.
So because
that's what I miss.
I used to love when we were in college at Burger King. They would have they had, it was a local thing, I think. It was a chicken tender sandwich for like $1.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
I loved those.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was a local thing. Yeah, but yeah, because I know that the new chicken tenders, because for a while they actually went to like a McDonald's style chicken nuggets, like they were trying to compete against McDonald's, and then people are like, no, you actually had chicken tenders, that's why people like they come to Burger King because they want something like different, like they don't want McDonald's 2.0, like they want Burger King. So like then they went back to quote the original chicken tender recipe, but it's not quite the same as it used to be, because for one thing they're shaped differently, which texture wise that kind of changes things a little bit, but it also does not taste exactly like it used to. At least maybe my taste buds have changed over time, but it doesn't seem like it so
my thing that I miss the most, okay, Keebler used to make these cookies called Magic Middles.
Okay.
What they were like a shortbread cookie, and in the middle there was like this creamy either chocolate or peanut butter fudge in the middle.
Oh, okay.
And they were amazing, the chocolate ones. I never had the peanut butter ones. But they were so good, and they discontinued them for some reason.
Oh, were they shaped like the actual Keebler person?
No, they still have those, because I actually just bought those yesterday. They were
okay.
Those see what these are. They're like the cookie, and it was like inside the middle, like hidden inside there was the chocolate.
Oh, okay, I got
you. Like it looked like a normal shortbread cookie, but inside there was like fudge.
Gotcha. So it wasn't like sandwich like the new. Okay, no, gotcha.
No, I mean I still get that, because I just actually bought the double stuffed Keebler cookies the other day with the
Okay, cool.
You know.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that, like Surge soda. I liked that a lot when I was around.
Yeah, they brought that back though. So.
Oh, they did. Okay. Just lots of like certain brands of chips. Can't remember now, but I know I was pissed off at the time because I was like, I really like these things. I know for a while they had this thing called ketchup fries that Burger King made.
Yeah.
I don't know why everything's coming back to Burger King, probably because I'm hungry. But
yes,
they actually sold these at the store called ketchup fries. They were basically just like chips, but they were shaped like fries, and they kind of had like a ketchup-based flavor.
Yeah, ketchup
good.
chips are really popular in Canada.
Canada, yeah.
They do actually sell. They do sell them in certain brands here, but in Canada, they're like it's kind of like, you know, how we have like barbecue and sour cream and onion. They always have ketchup chips up there.
Yeah.
Anyways, do you want to talk about some trivia for this episode here, Matt?
Yeah, otherwise I could just keep talking about
food.
Just continue food products.
Okay, so all right. Here's some trivia here. Roxcart is a reference to the infamous Roxxon Corporation. Roxxon, a corporate front for Hydra, has appeared in various forms in Agent Carter, Daredevil, Iron Man, and even the prequel one short, A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to Thor's Hammer.
Huh?
There is a reference to David Fincher's Seven in a needle drop when Loki tries to access more materials from the TVA library. The clerk asks for he asks for help from is listening to Orchestral Suite Number 3 in D major by Johann Sebastian Bach. This is the same music playing when Detective Mills and Detective Somerset are in the process of researching the killer they're pursuing in the movie Seven. So, in Loki's file regarding the destruction of Asgard, the Revengers are noted. The Revengers is the name Thor gives his group that includes himself, Banner, Loki, Valkyrie, and Valkyrie in Thor Ragnarok.
Uh-huh.
The Revengers. In the cafeteria, Loki steals a drink from Casey to illustrate a point. Casey's drink was a Boku juice box. Boku was marketed in the U.S. as juice boxes for adults from 1990 to 2003. So, yes. And look up Boku ads. I remember they were done by Richard Lewis, the comedian.
Okay.
Yes. So look up those ads. The song Holding Out for a Hero by Bonnie Tyler plays during the opening fight at 1985 Renaissance Fair. The song debuted a year earlier in the film Footloose, 1984, known to be the favorite of Peter Quill from Guardians of the Galaxy. In the week between the broadcast of the first and second installment of Loki, trailers were released for Masters of the Universe Revelation and for Square Enix's Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, both of which also featured the song. That's interesting.
Yeah.
At the 1811 mark, there is an obvious 372 behind Loki at the TVA library. This is a reference to Thor number 372 comic featuring an early appearance of the TVA. The Loki variant's numbers, as seen from the hologram during the briefing, are in order of appearance with rough descriptions. MCU Loki L6792 is his number. Sporty Loki is L1247. Monster Loki is L6795. Party Loki is L8914. Warrior Loki is L7803. Also, the Loki variant's numbers whom they are hunting is L1130. when Loki and C-15 are walking down an aisle in Roxcart, there is an illuminated circular sign of arm and hammer in the background, a reference to Thor's favorite weapon. At the end of the episode, you can see several locations from the past of the MCU on the screen, including Vormir, Xandar, and Ego, among others. While it is speculated that Sophia Di Martino's character is Lady Loki, there are multiple hints throughout the episode that Di Martino's character is not Lady Loki. In most versions of the credits, Di Martino's character is credited as the Variant, while the Castilian credits refer to Di Martino's character as Sylvie. Sylvie is the name of the Marvel character Enchantress. When Loki calls the Variant Loki, the Variant states, "Ugh, don't call me that." Also, when the Variant and Loki are fighting, Loki states, "I would never treat me like this." These two lines hint that Di Martino's character is not Lady Loki, but rather a different character. The Variant in this episode is based on Lady Loki, a female version of Loki from the Marvel Comics, and Sylvie Lushton, a version of Enchantress who was given magical powers by Loki. Yeah, in the comics, the character of Sylvie is living in the new Asgard on Earth, and is a human that is given, like a human mortal that is given powers by Loki as a whim that he has, like just as a goof, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
But basically, they could be working together then.
Yeah.
Like maybe she's like the foot soldier type of thing, you know.
Yeah.
We'll find out what's going on with this.
Yeah. When the interior of the TVA when Loki and Mobius are in the elevator looks to be the interior of the Marriott Marquis in downtown Atlanta, where the episode was filmed. CGI added for the Timekeeper's statues. One of the files that Loki reads at the TVA confirms the destruction of Asgard was a Class 7 apocalypse, and 9,719 Asgardians died when Surtur attacked. So, okay, so here are a couple of like Easter eggs from the episode. You interested in this, Matt?
Yeah.
Okay, Oshkosh, Wisconsin. The episode begins at a Renaissance fair set in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Marvel Comics editor Mark Grunwald hails from this town in Wisconsin. However, also, the character of Mobius is drawn in the comics to resemble Grunwald. So, that's interesting, too. There's a hexagon we've mentioned before. Coaster, so more hexagons. So who knows? That could mean something. Who knows? Maybe this whole thing is. Maybe it's kind of implying that this whole thing is like a hoax, like
yeah,
like things were in WandaVision. The Franklin Delano Roosevelt High School pen is interesting because I don't know what the deal with it is. Like I said before, I think this is going to come up. According to Slash Film, they're betting that this detail will end up leading to Mobius to realize that Renslayer is up to something nefarious. So somehow this pen is going to come into play like Chekhov's gun, like I said. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think that there's going to be something later on that'll definitely play off before we end. During an earlier scene during the scene in Renslayer's office, Mobius comments on a snow globe sitting on her shelf, calling it a trophy from a previous case. It's from a case that he didn't work on, and it's a San Diego snow globe.
Huh.
There's nothing about snow globes in San Diego in the Marvel Comics, but this may be a nod to Comic-Con. Comic-Con takes place in San Diego every year.
Oh, okay.
So that's an interesting little thing. That's all I got really here for trivia and Easter eggs here. Anything you any speculation you have here, Matt, or anything about upcoming episodes, about any like theories or conspiracies or anything you got?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think Loki was just kind of lying when he said he was wanting to overthrow the Timekeepers. I think he was just saying that to try to stall the other variant, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think that like Loki's gonna actually like have like a he already seems like he kind of looks up to Mobius as sort of like a uncle like figure, like, you know, or maybe he's just pretending. I don't know, but so I don't know. Like I just think their relationship is going to get a lot closer as they start to sort of understand each other's motives a little bit more. I'm not sure what's going to go on with this other variant. I don't know if Loki's going to try, you know, understand her motives and sympathize with her. I don't really know, but I do think that at the end of this season, that it's going to reopen the multiverse, and you know, we might find out that maybe the Timekeepers aren't these great benevolent dictators as they claim to be either. Maybe, perhaps, when they mentioned, you know, that there was a battle for supremacy, well, perhaps this timeline was also in that battle and just happened to win. You know,
I mean, my thing is just like I think the whole thing could be an illusion as well. There could be that the TVA is actually the bad guys, which is something that Marvel tends to go to time and time again, unfortunately. Where you got the whole like, oh, you know, S.H.I.E.L.D. is Hydra sort of thing. You know what I mean? I think maybe the TVA is actually being run by Kang the Conqueror, who is in the comics has a romantic relationship with Renslayer. So
right,
yeah,
it's possible. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, can you imagine if I mean, I don't know much about him as a character, but still, I mean, if Thanos was a force to be reckoned with, I mean, how they're going to have to find someone greater than Thanos to, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's Kang is like basically he's basically like the Attila the Hun of time travel. So it's like, you know what I mean? He's kind of like goes through and destroys things.
Right. Okay.
You know, destroys and pillages and everything, whatever he wants. You know. So there's like that whole thing. Or the Genghis Khan, or the, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So one of those, you know, history's, you know, worst people. You know. So there's that, and on a side note here, before we end things too, there's something interesting that I saw online. So, you know, at Disneyland, how they have people dressed up like characters walking around and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have the Avengers campus that just opened up recently, and they have people dressed up like, you know, dressed up like, you know, like like Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow, people dressed up like Thor, people dressed up like Iron Man and Spider-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp, and different people walking around, there. And they also have somebody dressed up like Loki normally. Normally he's wearing like his big, regal outfit that he wears. But now, starting after the first week of the show, they had him in a jumpsuit with a collar around his neck, dressed up just like he was in the first episode of Loki, with a couple of Minutemen walking around basically as guards. Second week, they've got him in that windbreaker that says Variant on the back.
Yeah.
That he's wearing in the current episode, with his tie on and everything, walking around like that now. So we'll see what happens next week, and if at Disneyland he's dressed up like whatever he looks like in the third episode.
Right.
So they're kind of just keeping up with the episodes now that people can actually go to Disneyland. They probably would have done the same thing with Falcon and Winter Soldier and WandaVision if Disneyland was actually open but it was during the pandemic, so they weren't open. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I think that's kind of cool that they're doing that because it's like, because at the park, Thor still looks like he did in the fucking Avengers. It's like he does, like from, 10 years ago or whatever. So it's not like,
yeah.
Yeah. Not like they've updated his look yet, but, they're updating Loki's look each week, which is kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be cool if they keep doing that, because they get these guys that kind of, walk around that, they're just guys that kind of look like Tom Hiddleston. They're not, obviously, you're not going to have Tom Hiddleston walking around Disneyland all the time dressed up as Loki.
No, I don't think it's part of his contract. But,
no.
All right, you got to stay here for like a month now and just put on your different clothes after each episode.
But yeah, but do some search, look up the Loki at Disneyland, and you can see the cool way that they've got them dressed up and everything. I wish I could afford to go out to Disneyland right now and check that out, but
yeah,
I want to eat and pay my rent and other things, but
nah,
yeah, going to Disneyland right now would cost literally an arm and a leg, probably,
literally.
Yeah, I'd have to sell my arm and sell my leg to be able to afford to go there.
Yeah.
I could sell my arm to the Winter Soldier so he could have a human arm.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Anyways, anything else before we wrap up things here, Matt?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna play out some good jet ski music for Mobius and or Loki at the end of this season.
And while you listen to this music, make sure you go to Apple Podcast and give us a 5-star review, and check out all2real2.com and our Patreon and all the other good stuff, our TeePublic, and buy some merch. Yeah. So this is what they're going to listen. What's that? I was going to say, play us out, Matt.
All right, this is what they're going to listen to when they go on the jet ski together. This is the song, so it's gonna appear in the episode somehow. So here it goes. That's bad. Hold That's how you ride a jet ski.
All right. Ride off into the sunset, folks. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.